Did you know that India, the world's largest democracy, has a dark underbelly that few dare to acknowledge? This is a land of contrasts, where the rich tapestry of culture and tradition hides an unseen side that is seldom talked about. India is often celebrated for its vibrant festivals, its colorful attire, its tantalizing cuisine, and its deep-rooted spirituality. Yet beneath this dazzling facade, there lies a world that operates under the cover of darkness. A world that brings with it a myriad of social issues that are as intriguing as they are disturbing. Nightlife in India is not all about the glitz and glamour of high-end clubs and star-studded parties. It's a beacon, a lure for those caught in the web of desperation and poverty, where the promise of a better tomorrow is just a dance or a drink away. But the reality is far removed from this illusion, as we will explore in our journey. Then there is the unfortunate trade of women, a grim reality that goes far beyond the realm of choice. It's a world where dignity and respect are often traded for survival. A world where women are not just selling their bodies, but their dreams, their hopes, and their futures to strangers. Polyandry, a practice that may seem archaic and obsolete to many, still finds its roots in certain pockets of India. It's a tradition that brings with it its own set of complexities and challenges, a tradition that questions the very fabric of societal norms. And finally, we touch upon prostitution, often referred to as the world's oldest profession. In India, it's a profession that operates in the shadows, a profession that carries with it a heavy burden of stigma and discrimination. These are the facets of India that remain unseen, unspoken, and often ignored. As we delve deeper into these issues, remember, awareness is the first step towards change. Let's peel back the layers of this complex society and shed light on the dark corners that need our attention. But wait, before we begin, please subscribe to ensure that you never miss out on any of my crucial stuff. Comment "I subscribe" below, and I will personally welcome you to our community. Let's get started. When the sun sets in India, a different world comes to life. This isn't your typical tale of nightclubs and parties. Rather, it's a journey into the heart of darkness, where the glittering lights serve as a veil for the unseen realities of the night. A world that, while it exists, often goes unnoticed in the hustle and bustle of the day. The Indian nightlife is a paradoxical blend of beauty and danger. For some, it's a time to unwind, to escape the pressures of the day. For others, it's a time of vulnerability, a time when the shadows grow long and the dangers become all too real. Under the cover of darkness, crime rates surge. Petty theft, violence, exploitation, the list goes on. According to recent reports from the National Crime Records Bureau, a significant percentage of crimes in India are committed between the hours of midnight and dawn. But why does this happen? Why does the night breed such fear and uncertainty? Experts suggest a number of factors: the lack of adequate lighting in many areas, the reduced police presence, and the general air of anonymity that the night provides. All of these contribute to an environment where crimes can and do occur with alarming frequency. But it's not all doom and gloom. There are those who strive to protect the vulnerable, to bring light to the darkness. There are initiatives in place to increase safety, to provide support, and to ensure that every citizen can enjoy the night without fear. Yet the truth remains: the Indian nightlife, for all its allure, has a darker side, a side that we cannot afford to ignore. We must strive to understand the realities of the night, to shed light on the shadows, and to ensure that when the sun sets, it does not take with it our sense of safety and security. The night in India, it seems, has more secrets than stars. In a society that worships goddesses, many women are forced to sell their dignity. This is a grim truth of modern India that we must confront. Imagine a place where deities of feminine power are venerated. Yet, paradoxically, countless women are compelled to trade their honor in the face of adverse circumstances. This is not a tale spun from fiction, but a harsh reality many Indian women grapple with daily. The reasons behind this unfortunate trade are manifold. Poverty, lack of education, and societal pressure are common culprits. However, the root of the problem is far more complex. It's a tangled web of gender inequality, deeply ingrained societal norms, and a system that often fails to protect its most vulnerable. Statistics paint a bleak picture. According to reports, nearly 3/4 of Indian women are forced into this trade due to extreme poverty. Many are victims of human trafficking, coerced into the trade under false pretenses. Others are driven by desperation, with no other means to provide for their families. Experts argue that a lack of viable employment opportunities and social security measures contribute significantly to this issue. Without adequate support structures, these women are left with limited choices, a cycle that perpetuates their plight. Let's not forget the societal stigma attached to these women. They are often ostracized, their voices silenced, their stories untold. This lack of societal acceptance further exacerbates their struggles, trapping them in a vicious cycle of exploitation and despair. There's a poignant irony in the fact that India, the land that gave the world the Kama Sutra, a text that celebrates sexual pleasure and mutual consent, is also a place where many women are denied autonomy over their own bodies. It's a stark contrast that highlights the deep-seated issues plaguing this vibrant nation. But awareness is the first step towards change. By shedding light on these issues, we can start the conversation, challenge the status quo, and work towards creating a society where every woman is respected and her dignity upheld. It's a harsh reality that in the land of the Kama Sutra, many women's bodies are not their own. Yet we hope through understanding and action, this reality can be changed. Before we continue, can I beg a little favor? If you're liking what you're hearing, show us some love by pressing that like button. And hey, if you want to be in the loop for our fantastic upcoming videos, make sure to press subscribe and ring that bell so you're always in the know. Oh, and one more thing. Drop a quick "I subscribe" down in the comments and I'll make sure to offer you a warm welcome to our amazing family. All right, enough of that. Let's keep the conversation flowing. In some corners of India, one wife, multiple husbands is not just a reality, but a tradition. This practice, known as polyandry, has deep roots in certain communities. Historically, polyandry was a strategy for survival in harsh environments. In the barren regions of the Himalayas, for instance, where resources were scarce, families found it more sustainable for a woman to marry all the brothers in a family, ensuring that their limited property would not be divided further. It was a pragmatic approach to maintaining family unity and economic stability. Culturally, polyandry has been referenced in ancient Indian texts, including the Mahabharata, one of the two major Sanskrit epics of ancient India. In the narrative, Draupadi, a revered female figure, was married to 5 brothers, known as the Pandavas. This is often cited as evidence that polyandry was socially acceptable and even revered in the past. Fast forward to the present day, and the practice of polyandry is much less common. Modern law, influenced by a largely monogamous global perspective, does not recognize polyandrous marriages. However, in some remote communities, particularly in the states of Himachal Pradesh and Uttarakhand, the tradition persists, albeit under the radar. Expert opinions vary on the issue. Sociologists point out that polyandry can empower women by giving them multiple sources of support. However, critics argue that it can also lead to exploitation and abuse, as women's rights within these marital relationships are often poorly defined. What is clear, though, is that polyandry is not merely a forgotten tradition, but a living practice that continues to shape lives in India. As we navigate the complexities of modern society, it's important to understand these diverse cultural practices, not to judge them, but to appreciate the rich tapestry of human experiences they represent. Polyandry, a tradition as old as the Himalayas themselves, continues to shape lives in modern India. In the bustling streets of India, the world's oldest profession thrives in the shadows. Prostitution, a trade as old as civilization itself, is a stark reality in the subcontinent's urban and rural landscapes. India, with its population of over 1 billion, is home to an estimated 3 million sex workers. This figure, however, only scratches the surface of a much deeper issue. The clandestine nature of this profession often keeps it hidden from official statistics, making it a gargantuan task to grasp the full extent of this predicament. Let's take a moment to understand the reasons behind these high rates. Poverty, lack of education, and societal pressures often drive individuals towards this profession. It's a cycle that's hard to break, often passed down through generations as children of sex workers are groomed into the trade. Prostitution in India isn't just an economic issue, it's a human rights crisis. The deplorable conditions these individuals face are heart-wrenching. From physical abuse and coercion to the risk of sexually transmitted diseases, the profession is fraught with dangers. The government and several non-profit organizations are, however, fighting back. Legislation such as the Immoral Traffic Prevention Act seeks to penalize those who exploit sex workers. Furthermore, numerous NGOs are working tirelessly to provide education, healthcare and vocational training to help these individuals break free from the shackles of this profession. The battle is far from over, though. The very nature of this profession, its secrecy and societal stigma make it a tough nut to crack. But with continued efforts and a shift in societal attitudes, we can hope for a future where no individual is forced into this line of work out of desperation or lack of options. As we pull back the curtains on India's dark side, remember, change begins with understanding. These shocking truths about India may be hard to swallow, but they are crucial to understanding the complexity of this vast nation. From the intoxicating allure of its nightlife hiding a grim reality to the forgotten tradition of polyandry, India is more than meets the eye. We've shed light on the unfortunate trade that many women are forced into and the high prevalence of the world's oldest profession. It's easy to turn a blind eye to ignore these unsettling truths. But it's only through awareness and understanding that we can hope to bring about change. We must remember every individual's action, however small, can ignite a powerful transformation. So let's not just see, let's observe. Let's not just hear, let's absorb. Let's not just empathize, let's act. As we say goodbye, we urge you to not just see but to observe, to understand, and most importantly to act, because every change starts with a single step.